The gravel crunched under my truck's tires as I pulled up to the old lake farm I had just bought, a peaceful stretch of land far from the suffocating grip of the law I'd escaped. The air felt cleaner here, scented with pine and lake mist. An old barn, weathered but sturdy, stood at the edge of the clearing like a silent guardian. Beyond it, the lake shimmered under the golden evening sun, ripples dancing like it was welcoming me home. After years of fighting with petty WA dictators over mailbox colors, grass height, and approved fencing, this quiet land felt like freedom breathing. I stepped out, stretched, and let the cool air wipe the past from my shoulders. I had big plans: restoring the barn, planting a garden, building a small dock. This was supposed to be my reset button. I barely got the tailgate down before the peace shattered. A caravan of shiny SUVs rolled up the dirt road, tires spitting dust as they surrounded my truck like a tactical unit. Doors opened in perfect unison. Out stepped the WA board, clipboards, sunglasses, and judgmental stares included. Leading them was Karen herself, the queen of complaints, wearing a permanently offended expression. She marched forward as if she owned the land. "Sir," she said sharply, "this property falls under our extended residential oversight zone. You are required to begin paying WA dues immediately." I blinked, stunned. "This land is outside the HOA. Miles outside." She ignored me, snapping pictures of my barn, tools, even my truck. "You will also need an inspection. Your structures may not meet our standards." My jaw clenched. This was impossible. But when Karen smirked and said, "Failure to comply may result in forced removal," I realized something chilling. They actually believed they owned this place. My fresh start had just turned into a battlefield. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of buzzing. Not bees, not wildlife, but a drone. I stepped onto the porch of the farmhouse and saw it hovering above my barn like an electronic vulture. As I squinted at it, a familiar voice shouted from the fence line. "We're conducting a property standards review," Karen yelled, waving her clipboard like a scepter. Behind her were 3 WA board members, all dressed in matching windbreakers and self-importance. They were already inside my fence, on private property, walking around with measuring tapes, cameras, and notebooks. One man pressed a gadget against my fence post. "Non-compliant height," he muttered like he was diagnosing a crime scene. I stormed toward them. "You can't be here. This isn't your jurisdiction." Karen gave me a tight smile, the kind she reserved for moments when she thought she was winning. "We recently updated our community borders. This land now falls under our authority. Section 38C, Extended Environmental Aesthetic Zone." I stared at her. "You made that up." She laughed like she was humoring a child. "We're here to uphold standards. Your property is problematic." Problematic. I'd been here for 12 hours. Within minutes, they plastered my barn door with orange violation notices. One board member placed another on a tree. That afternoon, things escalated. I received an email from the county about noise disturbances, though I hadn't made a sound beyond walking. Then another complaint: improper waste management. The day after, an anonymous report accused me of disturbing the wildlife. All bogus, all coming from the same people. It became clear. This wasn't enforcement. This was harassment. A slow, coordinated squeeze meant to scare me into paying dues or packing up. But they didn't realize something crucial. I don't back down. By the end of the week, my peaceful lake farm looked like a battlefield of orange notices, warning, flags, and smug WA footprints. Every sunrise brought a new headache. Emails from the county, passive-aggressive letters from the WA, and even a printed eviction warning taped to my barn door like some kind of victory trophy. The WA wasn't just being pushy anymore. They were trying to break me. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of black coffee and every document I had. Property deeds, boundary maps, tax records, satellite imaging. I spread them across the table like puzzle pieces, tracing the borders with my finger. My land wasn't near the WA, it was miles outside it. The line between us was clear. It wasn't a gray area. It wasn't a dispute. It was fact. So why were they acting like they owned it? I dug deeper, pulling up county archives, old plats, and scanned documents stored on public record. Hours passed. Then something strange appeared. A new HOA boundary map filed just a month earlier, with signatures that didn't match the previous year's documents. Some signatures looked copied. One belonged to a man I knew had moved out of state 3 years ago. My heart started pounding. This wasn't overreach. This was fraud. I printed the maps, highlighted inconsistencies, circled mismatched signatures. The more I uncovered, the darker it looked. The HOA board had illegally expanded their jurisdiction, quietly, secretly, without community approval or county verification. And now they were using that fake expansion to bully me off my own land. I leaned back, adrenaline kicking in. If they wanted a fight, they were about to get one. I sent emails to a land rights attorney, the county clerk, and, just to twist the knife, a local news reporter known for exposing corruption. Karen and her board thought they were untouchable. They were about to learn they picked the wrong person to push. The day of the meeting arrived like a storm I had summoned myself. I hosted it right on my lake farm. Ironic, considering the HOA claimed they owned authority over it. But now the county officials, neighbors, reporters, and even a few curious passers-by filled the old barn I'd cleaned out the night before. Folding chairs lined the space, the lake glimmering through the open barn doors behind them. Karen and the HOA board entered last, flustered but trying to act composed. Karen strutted in like a queen arriving late to her coronation, fake confidence dripping from every step. Her clipboard hugged her chest like a shield. The board members followed, their eyes scanning the crowd, clearly realizing this was bigger than they expected. I connected my laptop to the projector. The first map flashed onto the barn wall, the real county-approved boundary map, showing the HOA's jurisdiction ending well before my property line. A few people gasped. Karen's jaw tightened. Then I displayed the second map, the HOA's updated version. Lines redrawn, borders stretched, signatures at the bottom. I zoomed in on one signature in particular, highlighting it for everyone to see. "That man moved to Florida 3 years ago," I said calmly. People murmured. Cameras clicked. An official from the county straightened in his seat. I continued, page after page. Inconsistencies, forgeries, unauthorized filings. It wasn't just overreach. It was deliberate manipulation, and the crowd felt the shock ripple through them. Karen jumped up, voice cracking as she tried to control the room. "This is all a misunderstanding. The board acted in good faith." But the county clerk cut her off. "We'll be conducting a full investigation." Even her own board members looked at her differently now, suspicious, betrayed. For the first time since this war began, the power shifted back to me. The investigation moved faster than anyone expected. Within weeks, the truth unfolded like a collapsing house of cards. The county confirmed what I had already proven. The HOA board had illegally expanded their boundaries using forged signatures, falsified documents, and unauthorized filings. It wasn't a clerical error. It wasn't confusion. It was a coordinated attempt to seize control of more land and collect more dues. When the results became public, the backlash hit the wall like a tidal wave. Karen tried to defend herself on social media, blaming miscommunication, clerical mistakes, and even hostile neighbors. But screenshots, documents, and video clips from the barn meeting flooded the internet. She couldn't spin her way out. The HOA members demanded her resignation. Soon the entire board was suspended, fined, and barred from serving on any community leadership for years. Every complaint they filed against me, zoning, noise, environmental violations, was dismissed. The county apologized personally, acknowledging the stress the false reports caused. One official even admitted, "You handled this better than most." Many people would have backed down. Not me. Not on my land. Word spread through the town. Neighbors I'd never met stopped by the farm with congratulations, snacks, even offers to help restore the barn. A retired surveyor volunteered to restake the property lines, just so nobody tries anything stupid again. Laughter and relief finally replaced the tension that had hung over the place for weeks. I rebuilt the dock overlooking the lake and started my mornings with quiet coffee and sunrise. The land felt different now, not just peaceful, but earned. One afternoon, I received a final letter, an apology from the newly appointed HOA board, promising never to interfere with my property again. I tossed it into the fireplace, watching the edges curl into ash. My lake farm was finally free. And so was I.